Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing tonight? Who do we have here with us? We have Rooted from Rooted Expeditions, Jen, Jen's Life Journey 2, Mark B, Laura, Barbara, and I think I saw somebody lower down. Okay, guys, I would like you to meet my friend Danny from Chasing Bones and Specters.
Hello,
Hello.
everybody. How you
How are
doing?
you? I'm doing good.
Hey.
Okay. So I invited you to the show to find out more about your channel
Okay.
and what exactly do you do for like your channel and stuff. And first of all, the first question would be how did you choose your name for your channel?
Oh, yeah, that was pretty good. Well, I've been involved doing paranormal forever, but anyway, my kids wanted to start a group, but they didn't want to do the group without me there, just in case they ran into something that they needed, you know, help with. And he says, "Well, we should start a group," and it just popped out of my yap. I just said, "So what are we gonna call it? Chasing Bones Inspectors?" And that's where it came from. It was just like a response to me
Okay.
to my kids. Hey,
Okay.
Mark. Hey, Christy. Hey, Tony.
So you investigate with your kids or
Well, I did. They were interested in it for 2 or 3 years, and then everybody just kind of dwindled off. Um, my my son sometimes once in a blue moon will still go on an investigation or something. Um, but everybody kind of went to the wayside now, and nobody wants to do anything anymore. So I just do it by myself now, which is cool. I mean, I'm happy with that.
okay. And what got you started in the paranormal?
Oh, ancestry. I mean, it's something that somebody in our family has always done. There's always been someone taking over the reign for the next time. So I kind of was, I don't know, destined to do it. I suppose. I don't know how else to say it, but
Okay. Do you go to private houses and investigate also? Or you stop that and just do your channel?
oh no, I do lots of work with the different dioceses, and that's actually my job is the paranormal. Okay, I've been doing it for
Okay.
52 years now. So for 52 years, I've worked with the diocese, with the Druid Association, and the Shaman Institute. So I've, you know, often done jobs where there's people, things in houses, or had to go bless cemeteries or burial grounds. Um, done a few exorcisms. Most exorcisms are usually on house or property, but like I mean, it's been three or four or five. I can't remember now. People where I've had to do it, you know. So it's actually always been my job basically, and then and sometimes it can get pretty rough, but the paranormal investigating is my hobby. You see, um, it's kind of weird. A few years ago, when the kids wanted to do this, um, I had just done. I can't remember which case it was, but I did this one case, and I was really stressed out by it. So then we went on our first investigation as a family unit. Like just as just go investigate. Um, I was really relaxed at it. I really felt good. I felt relaxed afterwards. I really enjoyed myself because there was no responsibility. See, like to me, going out and investigating places and doing all, I didn't have any responsibility. Whatever was there was there. I didn't have to deal with it. I didn't have to, you know, which for me was one heck of a change. Like, like the first couple places we went, I'm thinking, well, what should I do? And then it's like, you're not supposed to do anything silly, just get evidence, right? So it took a while for me to realize, it's none of my business what's going on there. My business is just to get the evidence, right? So that took a little bit of while, but it's funny that the job itself is very, very stressful, but it's the same thing I'm doing to have relaxation. So it's kind of weird.
Okay. Um, and do you have like any special, like, are you an empath or some sort?
People ask me that all the time. No, I'm just a caretaker. Okay. I get whatever gifts I need that the spirits say you need to do this. Okay. So say there's a job comes up. The spirits tell me what I need to do and how I need to do it. Like I don't really think of myself as having any gifts whatsoever. But like if I have to see a spirit, I'm going to see them. If I have to hear them, I'm going to hear them. If I have to do anything, I'm going to just do it. Right. It's
Hmm.
basically, it's like, as far as I'm concerned, I'm just a hammer in a toolbox. I'm just an old hammer in an old bag of box. And the spirits ask
Okay.
me to do certain jobs, so I go do it. Um, my Utopians and the Wolfpack, they all say I got lots and lots of gifts, but I'm a spirit walker. That's all. It's just, I guess if I was gonna have to claim any gift, I'd just say I'm a spirit walker.
Okay. And we can like go to you and ask you, well, I'm having problems with an attachment or something, and you can give us some great advice. Are you like our YouTube shaman or something
Yeah,
to
no,
help us? No?
no, no. I'm just me. I'm just like anybody else, right? I'm a pastor. I'm a registered pastor, a registered Celtic druid, and a registered shaman. Okay, so I've been a shaman and a Celtic druid over 52 years. Okay, I completed my training 52 years ago. Okay, so the stuff from then till now, the things I've picked up, the things I've learned, it's just from my own experiences and things like that. Okay, uh, and so yeah, like a lot of times I might have some ideas of different things, what other people might not, or whatever. But um, one thing is, there is no one that knows everything. There's no such thing as a professional. There's no that's the bunch of if someone says they're a professional, other than um, like they work profession as professionals in the paranormal, right? Like there's a difference. Someone that's very professional about their job, very professional about the work. That's one thing. But no one in particular is a professional at the paranormal. I mean, how could you,
Hmm.
right? Like
Yeah.
nobody is. And in my opinion, no one's better than anybody else. So,
Okay. We have a question here. What is one thing you look for above the rest when you go out on these adventures? Details.
oh, well, I really like using my trigger objects and stuff. So I look forward, and I use different trigger objects, and I look forward to see if something's going to affect them. But what I do is I set up my trigger objects and then put the camera on and I leave, right? Like I'm nowhere near it. I try to make sure I stay a good distance away from the trigger objects and I just let it record. And then if I get anything, like I just started actually a couple of weeks ago, actually putting it on YouTube on my channel, whatever happens with my trigger objects. I never used to do that. But
Okay.
for some reason, I just felt like doing it, and I've got a couple up that have some really cool, uh, in my opinion. I mean, it's just my opinion. Really cool evidence, and you can tell that I'm nowhere near them. There's nobody anywhere near what's going on with the trigger objects because I keep them isolated from everybody else, right? Because if
Okay.
I don't want nothing around it to affect it, you know. So so I like to do that. I like using my rods, my spirit rods when I go out, or EVPs. I do my prayers, all that kind of stuff. What I look for, I guess, mainly is just any type of interaction with the spirits. I mean, anything at all. Even if I just get a disembodied voice on my camera or my tape or anything like that, if I get a disembodied voice, I'm very excited because this is evidence that has come out of nowhere, right? And when you think about it, the spirits are crossing over into our plane. We get even hello, right? To
Yeah.
me, it's very exciting. It's very. Um, I never take it for granted. It's like, holy crap! Thank you for speaking to me. And it's
Yeah.
just like, and it's really weird because when I'm on investigations, that sort of stuff. Hey, Jan, how are you, sweetie? That sort of stuff really excites me. I even after all these years, I get very excited over the simplest, silly little things.
Yeah.
On the job is different. On the job is different because my brain is not functioning for that, right? My brain is there to help the people or help the children or help whoever I'm helping. So, I mean, anything happens with that, I'm more on a defensive than I am anything else, if that makes sense. So,
Okay. Yeah.
so when I get stuff on the channel, like on investigation, it's yeah, I still get super excited over it. Doesn't matter what it is.
Okay. I have just an announcement that thank you, Karen, for your donation to PayPal. This will really help us to go and explore that witch house. So thank you. I really appreciate you.
Love me too, Melissa.
Okay. I have another question here from Zach again. What is your favorite hobby or thing you like to do?
um, Now working in the grove, working in my grove, I really love doing that. Doing my paranormal investigations, that's another thing. I used to love scuba diving and stuff, but since I've gotten sick and had to have operations on my legs and everything, I don't scuba dive anymore. I might try again next year if my legs stay good. Well, as if they don't get any worse, I might go back scuba diving next year and do some underwater filming and stuff. But um, yeah, anything outdoors, I love it.
Okay. Have a question from Mark B. How long do you how long do attachments last? I had one for a month now, but we conzect
Oh,
now.
okay. Well,
Is it normal?
attachments can last forever. I mean, if you don't get rid of them, if you don't close off their tether line, um, yeah, then I mean you're going to be stuck with it forever. And if you get to the point where you're coexisting, where you're accepting the fact it's there, nobody can get rid of it. You'll never get rid of it because you've already given up per se. You've already said, okay, I'm going to just have to live with this thing. So if you're
Hmm.
coexisting, it means you're satisfied with the fact that it's not doing anything too tremendous to you. So you've accepted the fact it's there. And at that point, you're stuck with it, until you get to the point where you say, look, I've had enough, get lost. Um, yeah, they can stay forever or as short as an hour. I mean, or 5 minutes. I mean, it just depends on different situations that are going on at the time too. So
Okay. Another question from Zach. What's the one thing that has stood out to you on your investigations or adventures that made you double think what you're doing?
nah. Well, on the paranormal side, like on the investigation side, on the relaxing side, nothing. Um, the only thing that ever happened well, one of the very, very few things that ever happened while I was investigating, like with Chasing Bones and Specters, not at work, um, was we went to this one place and there was a Wendigo attached to the playground where children are, right? And I made a promise to myself I'd never get involved on an investigation, you know, if I wasn't supposed to be working, right? Because it's for me, it's supposed to be all about enjoyment. So reluctantly, the whole group kind of went well, and we left it there. We went home. Um, but that night, we're sitting at the table, and we all looked at each other and said, "Nah, man, we gotta go back." Right? For the simple fact that it was attached to a playground where children are. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't leave it there, so we had to go and banish it from the playground area, which is what we did. We banished it from the playground area. But I mean, it's still running around out there somewhere. But at least we wanted to make sure that the children would never be hurt or attacked or have nightmares or um, feel feel the presence of it, basically, right? So that's the only thing that I've questioned about like those investigations. Now on the job, I mean, when I got thrown out of a three-story window, I thought about quitting. When I got thrown through a wall, I thought about quitting. I mean, when I ended up having to go for stitches because I got cut across my chest, I thought about quitting. But no,
Okay.
every like in the job, there's been a few times where I thought, this is enough. I'm getting too old for this shit. And actually, I retired. So much for that crap. But I retired almost a year ago. But I've never worked so much since I retired. I mean, because now, I've got so much going on with so many different things, and there's nobody in this area to take over my spot. So
Mm.
until a couple more people get a little bit more training under their belt, I'm kind of stuck. So now I do cases that where the people that are under me are the people that work for the same council. If they don't feel confident in dealing with it, then I'll do it. So it's supposed to be occasional work, but I've been doing since I retired one thing or two things a week for the last year, which is more than what I was doing before. So I shouldn't have retired because I'm busier now.
Okay. Here we have a question. Have you ever had a demon follow you home, Danny?
Yeah, Maria, I've had 5 or 6 of them follow me home. Suckers.
Wow.
Uh, but as soon as I get to my yard, it's on holy. My land is holy ground. It's sacred land. And Astro has lunch. If they come in anywhere near me or near the yard, my guide Astro and Shakara and Mabala and everybody else, yeah, they don't stick around. But I have had them follow me, and they've gotten close to my house, right? But they've never stepped over the curb. You know, I've had them where they're just off my property and they just sit there. You know, so it gets to annoy me after a while because they'll sit there and sit there and sit there. So then I decide, well, screw this. So I go out to where they are and say, what are we going to do here? Are you going to stay around all day or are you going to bugger off? But yeah.
Okay. Patrick wants to know, how did you meet Astro?
Hey, Patrick, how I met Astro. That's I was at the homestead and I was like 5 years old, I think, maybe 4 or 5. Anyway, I thought I was a big boy now, so I'm going swimming, right? But so I went to go swimming and I didn't put on my boat coat, you know. Um,
Floaty.
yeah, life jacket, whatever,
Yeah.
boat coat. Anyway, I went down to I went down to the lake and I went into the water and I started going down in the water and I kept blacking out. Um, then this also how I got my name White Wolf too. I was gonna die. I mean, there's no two ways about it. I was dead. Like me, I wasn't gonna survive this. stupidity of mine. But when you're 4 or 5 years old, you're allowed to be dumb, right? Anyway,
Yeah.
uh, as I was going down, I was still fully dressed. Like I didn't have a bathing suit on. Still had my jacket and my pants and everything. Well, as I was in the water, something grabbed my collar, and then something grabbed this side of my collar, and it started to pull me. And as I looked up, there were two white wolves, literally swam out to the lake, grabbed my jacket, and pulled me back to shore. Okay,
Wow.
and they licked my face, and I shook my head, and I'm like this, and I had no fear of them. I had no nothing. I loved them. They were awesome. Uh, my parents, my uncle, and my dad were up at the top of the hill. They seen this. They come running down because they didn't know what was going on. They just seen these two wolves and me lying on the beach. They were freaking. Well, as they came down the hill, the two looked up at them, looked back at me, and started walking down the beach. And we have um, white crystal sand, if you know what that is. Like if there's a track in the sand, it's going to be there until the tide comes in, sort of a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they got down, and these two wolves were like 40 feet away by the time they got down there, and they stopped and they turned and they looked back. And both all the adults there said that they saw him playing his day, but then as they turned their head, they just vanished. They dissipated. They weren't even there. Like as far as they were concerned, they evaporated. You know, which
Yeah.
really freaked them out for years. But these two wolves that were there just vanished into thin air. Well, at that point, they were all talking about that and busy about that, and I kept hearing Astro, right? And he's sitting up in this tree, on a cedar tree. He was sitting up there on a cedar tree, and for whatever reason, he took the form of a gargoyle. Anyway, he was sitting up in this damn tree, right? So the first thing I said to him, because to me he was as plain as day and as solid as you and I. I looked
Mm-hmm.
at him and I said, "Well, thanks a lot, butthead. You could have helped me, right?" So here I am tallying, okay, an elemental, a fire elemental, calling him a butthead, right? I didn't know any better though, I was just a smart ass kid. I said, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
you butthead, you could have helped me." Well, he started laughing, and the laughing was so loud it was like thunder in my ears, right? And he was laughing, and he said, "I like you, kid. I'm going to stay with you now," right?
Oh.
And ever since then, he's been my brother. Me and Astro and his wife Shakara and his brother Mabala, we've been family ever since then. But I guess he just liked my attitude at the time. I don't know what it was, but he thought it was the funniest thing that he ever saw. He's this little kid, hasn't even learned to piss straight yet, calling him a butthead. He thought that was the funniest thing. So,
We have a question here from Barbara.
hey, cowgirl.
Question: what exactly is a shaman and what do they do? Isn't that a Native American thing?
Yes and no. I mean, shamans are all over the world. I'm a Celtic shaman and native shaman, right? So I've had two elders that teaching me all my life. I've learned the Celtic shamanism, which is actually shamanism, and I've learned the native shamanism. And they're pretty much the same thing. Yeah. But there are different types of shaman, right? Mine has always been based on nature, spirit, and animal. So my Celtic and my native shaman is all about nature, animals, and spirit. Okay. But there's also shamans of medicine, shaman of herbs, shamans. There's different. There's always different types. There's shamans of spell, shamans of potion. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
there's all different types. But mine has always been nature, animal, spirit.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting to see the difference and clear
Yeah,
up
really.
the.
There's the thing is there really isn't much difference between Celtic shamanism and native shamanism. It's the same it's all really the same thing. Like there isn't that much difference. A lot of the herbs and the trees and medicines and everything else, it's all the same. Some of the medicines might be used for this, and some be used for that, but they're just still the same thing, right? So
Okay.
there's a lot more similarities than there are differences.
Okay. Here we have a question. Have you ever been woken up to your blanket being pulled off, and what did you do?
Colleen, what did I do? I said, Astro, quit messing with my blanket and stop listening to Colleen saying to come over and pull my blanket off. Colleen Whiteowl is one of my besties. Well, she is my best friend.
Okay.
We've been friends for a long time, and I've been tutoring her.
Tutoring her. Yeah.
But she's a windwalker. If you know
Oh,
what a windwalker is, she's a windwalker. Um,
okay.
so
Can
yeah,
you explain to the people in the chat, for those that don't know, what a windwalker is?
a windwalker is someone that works hand in hand with the spirit world, with the spirits and the animals and things like that. But the difference between a windwalker and non-windwalker, or like myself, I'm a spirit walker, so I see, I hear, I talk to them. They, we'll go for coffee, whatever. Windwalker, all the messages come on the wind. All the Everything is sent by the elemental wind. So if the spirits need help or the spirits want your attention, the wind will say to them, to windwalkers, hey, you have someone here waiting for you, right? The wind actually carries the message to them, which is, and
Okay.
then from there, they do whatever they do. But that's what a windwalker is. A windwalker receives information on the wind.
Okay. And do you put regular, like, do you have like a regular schedule for your channel, like every, I don't know, Mondays or?
No, I tried that, but the problem is I'm 24/7 on call, right?
Hmm.
So I can't really have a schedule for my channel. I try to put something up at least twice a week. I try, you know, don't always
Hmm.
achieve, but I always try to do it a couple. And I don't know what day. I just try, but I mean, I could be sitting here right now, and I might get a call from the council saying, "Hey, we need you to get over to this apartment complex or whatever," right? So I'm always getting calls, and I'm always on 24/7. I'm on call in case something happens. I gotta go do that. So it kind of interferes with planning anything, you know, um, because for whatever reason, I always say, okay, I'll go. I can't say no to helping people for whatever reason.
Okay. Here, Patrick says Danny is a great singer too.
Thank you, Patrick.
Okay. I was watching one of your videos, and I saw that you were offering the spirits a piece of chocolate.
Yep, yep. Um, I always feed the spirits. Every day I feed them. And when I go on investigations, see, my belief, now this isn't written down in stone. This isn't something that, it's just what I feel, what I believe, and from my own experience. Um, if you treat the spirits with the respect that they deserve, they'll treat you the same way, and you get a lot more evidence. Whenever I go out, I always bring food for them to give them energy. I say, take this food, use it for energy, do what you wish with it. I always bring water so that they can have water because water is a conductor, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Come here then. Come on. I know you want to say hello. All right, here's the star of the team. This is Luna.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello,
okay.
Luna.
Are you happy now?
Very pretty girl.
Are you happy now? Yeah. Okay. Say hi to. No, no. You gotta say hi to the people.
Hi, hi.
There you go. All right.
Oh.
Yeah. So I always bring food or water, and basically people don't understand. Like a lot of people don't realize, a quarter of a sandwich to the spirit world is a feast, right? Because it's not the food; it's the energy, the love, and the caring of the food that gives them the energy, right? So one small little, like I often use oranges because oranges are awesome because they're not only food, they're drink, right? So I'll cut an orange into
Mm.
and it just shows respect. It shows that you're saying, look, I want to offer you this. I would like to interact with you. You don't have to. This isn't saying you have to interact, but this is a gift, and that's all it is. It's a gift for you to have food and energy. Feel free to take all the food energy you want from this. And if you don't mind, I'd like to interact with you, right? It just shows respect. It's like if you go to someone's house and they invite you for supper, it's nice to bring something, right?
Yeah,
Like,
bottle
like
of wine or a dessert or something. Yeah.
right. So to me, I've always fed the spirits, and I always think it's what you should do. Now, in places like hospitals, children's hospitals, things like that, like a psychiatric hospital, chocolate is gold, right? The, all the patients always want chocolate bars, right? All the patients because when you're there, you can only get chocolate bars and chips if you've done everything you're supposed to do and you're on good behavior, and you got to be on good behavior for 2 days before you can have a piece of chocolate, right?
Yeah.
So it's like gold, So when you offer chocolate in institutions like any
Hmm.
jail or any old folks home or any hospital, you're basically saying, hey, you've been a good sport, have some chocolate, right?
Okay. Okay. Here we have a question. Of all the paranormal cases you've responded to, what one case stands out the most
Mm,
to you?
there's a few. Um, the one I guess is when there was a couple, a man and a wife. They both made deals to have power, strength, and success, and they were both practicing dark arts. And it didn't turn out the way they wanted. They actually got possessed, and it was a heck of a battle. I mean, it was a tough, very tough time. It wasn't just me there. There was three other. There was one other pastor and two priests that were there. I mean, it was that's the one that got thrown out of the third-story window. That's the case
Okay.
where it got tossed out the window. So that one always stands out. There's a few of them.
Okay, because it can get violent. The spirits can get violent at some
Oh,
point.
very, very, yeah.
Mhm.
Mostly they don't. Like, hey Nicole, how you doing, sweetie? Sorry I didn't see you come in. Um, Mostly they don't. Mostly the spirits are happy-go-lucky, and if you treat them with respect, they'll treat you with respect. But the darker ones, yeah, they got no use for human beings, right? So they're gonna be cantankerous. You know what I mean? But most spirits you meet are just like you and me. They're just people. That's passed on, and for whatever reason, they decide to hang around. You know, um,
Mhm.
some are stuck. Some just want to get. This is all just my opinion, guys. So please, this is not the opinion of the host. It's just my opinion. Some of them just want to get their story out. Some of them just need to have someone say, "Look, it's okay. I forgive you." Some of them just need closure of some sort, and then they'll bugger off to some other place. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's just something I keep in mind. And like I tell everybody that I know, if you're going to do investigation, remember they're people too, right? So show them the same respect that you'd like to get. And
Mhm.
as far as I'm concerned, that's when you get your best evidence anyway.
Yeah. And how did I saw your trigger objects? They're
Uh,
so cute. I really like them. What made you think of having little chickies as trigger objects?
well,
with the big glasses. They're so cute.
Yeah, I was at the dollar store, right? And I was gonna go to. I was actually because of work that I got those ones. Um, this one apartment had 3 or 4 kids running around all the time, right? And they weren't doing anything wrong, but they were they're kids. They're rambunctious. They're noisy. They never did anything mean or nasty, right? Except 3 o'clock in the morning is not the time to be going down the hallway bouncing a ball or riding on a bicycle, right?
Yeah.
So they were causing mischief, you know. And I thought, well, I need a way to let them know that I'm not there to give them crap or whatever. So I was at the dollar store and I saw these little chickies. There was a package of 6 of them for $1, right? And I thought, I'll try these. So I bought them and then I put them on my table, right? And they just stood there. And I'm like, holy crap. So I shook the table a little bit and I banged on the table and they never fell down or anything. They just kept standing there. And I realized, well, their feet, are bigger than their body. So they're not going anywhere. When you put them down, they're not going to
They
fall nowhere. They're not going to,
they won't tip over or
right.
anything.
So and they're very, very light. They're just cotton, basically like little styrofoam balls, 2 styrofoam balls with well, you've seen them.
Yeah.
They're super light, but they are so solid when you put them down, like moving wise, they don't move, right? Unless something moves them. So I thought, well, this would be a great thing to put down. So and I mean, what kitty does isn't gonna like a bright yellow chickie with glasses? I mean,
Yeah.
right?
They're so cute.
So that's why I got them.
Okay. And does anybody in the chat have a question? I haven't seen some for a little bit now. Uh, what can we expect for your channel, like in next months to come?
Uh,
Are there any?
well,
s-
I'm probably going to be doing. I'm starting to feel a little bit better, so I'm probably going to go back out and start doing some more stuff on the Grove. So there'll be some more Grove footage. Um, I got 3 or 4 investigations in mind that I want to do, so I've got those coming up. Um, I'll probably put up some more. Do you want to be a paranormal investigator? Hints and tricks and stuff like that. You know.
okay, that's a live stream that you do.
No, just cinemas that I put up, and it's
Okay.
like it's not saying, hey, this is what you should do or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. It's things
Okay.
that I've used and things that I do. And if you want to use them, feel free. You don't have to ask. Just that's why I put them there. If it gives you ideas to try something new when you're investigating or whatever, I'm just doing it, sharing out, the things that I do. And if you can
Okay.
adapt any of it, if you can use any of it, feel free to take it. Feel free to use it. But
Okay.
I'm certainly not saying what you should or shouldn't do. It's just this is what I do, and feel free to adapt any of it that you like.
Okay. Mark asks, "What should I bring as an offering when I go to talk to the spirits?"
Well, Mark, I always like I say I like to bring food and drink. The other thing that you can bring, anyone can bring, is some tobacco.
Hmm.
Tobacco is a neutral gift. Okay, basically, it's pure energy that's respected by the spirit world because they can use that energy in whichever shape or form that they wish, right? So by giving tobacco, you're saying, have at her. This is for you, and use it any way you see fit, right? It's free energy for them, and they always respect tobacco. I mean, sometimes I'll light up a cigarette and I'll put it down for them, and say, have at
Hmm.
it. Sometimes I'll hold it and you'll see them puffing away, and I go take a puff and my cigarette's half gone.
Yeah, because I went and do an investigation at a haunted cemetery. It's declared haunted by Find a Grave, but it was before it was lands that belonged to the natives of Canada. The tribe was the Abenaki tribe.
Hmm.
So that's what I did before I started my investigation, is that I offered them tobacco.
That's always good. Yep. I mean, that's tobacco's accepted. That's the thing with tobacco. Okay. It doesn't matter what culture, doesn't matter what country, doesn't matter what province, what state. All the spirits accept tobacco. It's just it's like the currency. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
the spirit world, tobacco is like a currency that they can use for whatever they want. So it's basically an open-ended gift that they can do what they wish with. Now, given water is a good thing because it releases like slave sort of feelings, right? Plus, water being a symbol of journey, right? Plus, it's, so by giving water and giving food and fruit and stuff like that, you're just basically giving energy and love to the spirits that they can use it in any shape or form or any way that they wish to use it. So
Okay.
you can,
Uh, oh wow! Look, coming with Heather. $53 for a pack of 30 cigarettes. Wow.
that's expensive.
So what you do is you collect your cigarette butts, and that'll do the
Yep.
same. Okay. And I saw another question, which was where'd it go? It popped and skipped. Oh well. So so it was the kids that got you into doing YouTube. They showed
No,
you how.
I've done YouTube for years, but a different thing altogether. I was doing Danny's Corner, which was stuff on my off
Oh,
flat and all kinds of different things. Um, I was doing singing on that channel, all kinds of stuff. I got rid of that channel now though, but um, I was doing all kinds of stuff, and then I started working on this channel a few years back, and I just couldn't keep up the two channels, so I had to pick one, and I decided I'd stay with the paranormal. So
okay. And you were saying before that the demons and stuff, like one asked if you brought one home. You were saying that your land where your house is protected.
yeah,
You put up protection. What kind of protection can we do? Is there one that we can do? Say, let's say we go investigate, then we bring something home, but just before we get into the house, it'll stop there outside. Is there something we can do
yeah.
about
Well,
that?
on my channel, I just put it back up on there. Um, I think it's under this and that. There's Spirit Stop, which you can make, um, which is a very good thing. I think anyone that does investigations should actually have it. You know, basically, you use it like you would a hand sanitizer, and you also do the bottom of your feet. Because basically, let's say you're at a foundry and there's a spirit that's at the foundry. Okay, how this works, and again, this is my opinion, guys. Okay, how this works is they pick up the scent of your spirit. Okay, now everything has a spirit scent. Okay, and for all I know, we smell like lasagna. I don't know, bacon. I don't know, but you know how
Well,
you.
I got an EVP that told me I smelled good,
Mhm.
and I was wondering, was it because of my perfume I had on, or I was.
Your spirit scent has a scent, right? Like so do they. Like if you smell, you can smell flowers. You can and different types. You can smell roses, jasmine. Um, they all have different scents. You can smell rotten eggs. You can smell sulfur. You can smell, you know,
That'd be Eric.
they all have scent, right? So we do too. I mean, don't kid yourself. We as humans stink. We all have a different. We all have our spirit. All our spirits have a smell, right? So if you're in a foundry, let's say, and there's a dark spirit that wants to attach to you, it's gonna follow your scent, right? The scent of your spirit. It's gonna. That's how it follows you. Okay.
Okay.
Well, it locks on. It locks onto that. Okay. Like it can follow you with its eyes. It can do all that too. But the way they travel is they got to lock onto your aura, or they lock onto your scent, right?
Okay.
So as you're leaving the area, if you use it, it changes your scent to cinnamon, right? Soon as they lose track of your actual scent, so when you use Spirit Stop, they lose their scent that they attach to you breaks because now they've got this other scent that fills them and they can't smell you anymore, right? So it's like an elastic band. They'll get snapped right back to the foundry. They won't be able to follow
Okay.
you because they're trying to tether to you. But if you break the tether by changing the scent, they're going to get snapped right back to where they started from, right? And that's the best way
Okay.
to make sure that they don't follow you home.
Okay. It's a cream or something made of cinnamon.
Mm, just watch the cinema. Yeah, it's basically it's basically just a mixture of different things, and
Okay.
everybody's probably got it in their cupboard already. You know, like it's very simple mixture,
Okay.
right?
Oh, we're
And
gonna check this
also
out.
there's also how to make holy water or blessed water on there, and there's also how to make black salt on there. You know, just different things that that I feel. I only put things on there that I feel can only really be used for one thing, and you can't screw it up, and you can't. Nobody can get hurt by it, right? And
Okay.
I got to be responsible for what I put out, right? So
Yeah.
I'll put out things that I know can only be used for certain things, right? That
Okay.
that's not going to hurt the grand scheme of the great poobah shaman. You know, I mean, like it's just stuff that anyone should have the right to know, right? So I put that
Yeah.
on there to share it with the people. I mean, if they want to use it, fantastic.
Oh,
You know, if they don't want to use it, say la vie.
go check him out, guys. His link is pinned up in blue in the chat. Here, Barbara has a question. Sandra Pink Videos. Do you have a Dollar Tree store in Canada?
Yeah, we got
What?
dollar stores. I don't know if we got Dollar Tree.
No, Tree? I don't think so. Us,
We
it's
got
called
Bucker Two.
Dollarama.
Yeah, we got Bucker Two, Dollarama. Um,
Yeah, buck or two. Yeah. Under
there's a couple
five.
other ones I can't remember, but yeah, we've got a lot of different dollar stores here.
Yeah, but it's not called. Well, I haven't seen any. Maybe there's some
Well,
somewhere
there
that.
used to be. There was like a few years back. There was a couple Dollar Trees and a couple Bargain Shop, I think it was called. But Dollarama bought them out,
Yeah.
so they all became Dollarama.
Yeah.
But yeah, all same company in the end.
Yeah. Heather says my attachment stopped outside. Why is that?
Because obviously there's something about your yard or your house that it can't go near. They won't
There's.
they won't go into your place if your place is protected by spirits or you got strong spirit guides in your home, you know, that protect you, or if you've got like a guardian grandfather or grandmother or aunt, someone who's always in your home that protects you, there ain't no spirit gonna come in your house because then they gotta deal with them, you see? And that's the thing too to keep in mind. If say your aunt or your mother or your cousin or somebody spirit is in your house, they have permission to be there, right? They have your permission to be there to protect and to be with the house. They've got all the strength. An invading spirit coming into the house, doesn't matter how strong that spirit is, they don't have permission. The one with permission is the boss. That's the one that says whether or not the spirit gets in or not, because it'll flatten them, you know, because they have all of the blessings from you to protect your place. So if you've got good spirits in your house that you welcome, they're not going to come in, you know.
Wow. Okay, and they can see each other, and they can.
Oh yeah, they can see each other, and really the key is if you've ever said, "Auntie, you're welcome here," or "Mother, you're welcome here." or like you welcome that spirit into your house, they automatically have every right to be there and can protect your house. So the darker spirits or anything that would be attached to you that follows you is not going to go in your house. Once you give permission to your good spirits to protect your house, they have permission to be there. So it's like sacred ground to them. They're not going to let something come in that they don't like.
Okay. Oh, here we have how you do move dark evil spirits from cemeteries. Do you move them back to where they originally came from?
Pretty much. But for the most part, most cemeteries and most burial grounds have guardians there. Okay. For the most part. Like a lot of, it's not, I have not come across evil spirits in a cemetery. I've come across pissed off human beings, but I mean, that's pissed off human beings. I haven't come across anything that's been non human or anything that's been really evil because the guardians of the dead are that's they're it's holy ground, it's protected ground, right? So again, it's very seldom that you'll find any, like, I mean, sure, it happens, but it's very, very seldom, very far in between. Normally the guardians wouldn't allow them in anyway, unless it's just a pissed off human. The guardians will allow them in because they're human, right?
Okay. But is there a symbol? Because let's say we don't have spirits in our home. Is there a symbol or a marking or something that we can do, like on our doors or windows,
Oh yeah, there's
or that we could do to stop them from entering?
yeah there's all kinds of things you can do. um and it depends too what you're trying to stop coming in. Like, say if you're start trying to
Oh,
stop
okay.
curses or witchcraft or anything like that, well then you're gonna want a daisy. Now there's a special design, obviously, but you'd want to put a design of a daisy that'll keep it out. You might want to put an X with a circle. You might want to put a cross. You might want to put, but it's all about your intention, your beliefs. It has to be. I don't care what the symbol is. Okay, the symbol doesn't mean squat if you don't believe in it. Okay. So whatever
Okay.
you're using for protection for your house, if you have faith in that symbol, if you've got belief in that symbol, if you put everything you are into that symbol, it's going to work every time. Now, I don't care if it's a picture of a watermelon. It doesn't matter what it is. If you believe in it, right? If you believe in it, if you have faith in it, because it's your faith, your belief, your commitment, and your attitude that gives it the strength in the first place, right? You
Okay.
just put it up because somebody said this is going to help you and you don't believe it, it's not going to do squat. Okay. It can't help you. If you don't have some belief in what you're doing, you're wasting your time.
Okay. And what kind of protection do you carry with you when you go on investigations?
I always bring my gopher bag. Um, and it's a gopher bag. It's not a coffer bag. That's a different thing altogether. I got my gopher bag. I bring my Archangel's medallion. I bring my sandalwood necklace. I've got a cross I wear. I bring my white wolf uh, pendulum and my shaman, um, or shaman, depending on your pronunciation, um, dreamstone.
Okay. And what's your favorite equipment to use when you do your investigations?
Hmm.
Is there one equipment in particular that?
Well, if we don't use my trigger objects, I love using a compass. I like using a piece of paper. I love using my spirit rods or dowsing rods.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know, just anything, a piece of paper rolled up, taped with a string on it, hanging in a doorway to see if it moves. That's my motion detector. Okay. A
Okay. It's
little
not a
string.
REM pod or
If the thing moves, it's motion, right?
yeah.
I don't, um, you know, a lot of this stuff I use is because when I started doing my work in this field, none of this stuff even existed that's here today.
Yeah.
None of it. I mean, when I first started, we had a reel to reel for getting EVPs. Okay, so you got to think back now. This is back in '67. Okay, I'm using a reel to reel. Now this thing was about 2.5 feet long, foot and a half feet wide, and had these great big huge things on this, right? Um, and I think it weighed about 36, 37 pounds that we had to lug around this thing to get EVPs, right? This is what we used back then for EVPs. Um,
Hmm.
now you got this little thing that's about this big, right? It doesn't weigh
Yeah.
anything. And you can record for 12 hours on it. Like this thing, you record for an hour and then you had to change the reel, right? Well, anyway, I remember, I think it was around mid 70s, we got a new reel to reel. And we were so excited. Like, we were going nuts because it was such a development, right? This reel to reel was only 8 inches long, 3 inches thick, and about 9 inches tall. And the reels were only about this big and it weighed 3.5 pounds. Right?
Okay.
We were in heaven. It's like, holy crap, this is so cool. so, so we had this reel to reel that weighed only 3 pounds. We were in heaven, right? So, like I'm saying, there wasn't all the stuff you got today. So, a lot of the stuff that we use or that I use even today is stuff from back in the 60s, 60s, 70s, and 90% of the stuff I use, I invented myself, you know. If not me, then someone from my group, Lorraine's invented a few things. There's a lot of people that we used to be kind of keep in touch with each other because back then you couldn't even say the word ghost or you got locked up in the nut house, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it was a lot different then, let me tell you. But yeah, so I mean, any little invention that came along, we all got, ecstatic about. So yeah, I just use anything. That doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay. Well, on that note, guys, Barbara Ann just showed you that Mark B is going to be in the premiere for 8 o'clock. And so go and check out Danny's channel. I'm sure everyone's going to learn a little bit here and there, especially if you are investigators and stuff. And thank you so much, Danny, for accepting my invitation. I knew this one was going to be good, and it was very interesting to hear you and
Well,
all the
thank
knowledge
you
you
for
have.
having me. I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you so much.
Well,
I
I
thank
thank
you.
you. Okay, guys. So, on that note, I want you all to have a wonderful weekend, and I
Blessing
love
and
you
light.
all.
Peace be
Mhm.
with you. Blessings, everyone.
And I'll see you all in your next videos. Goodbye.
Cheerio.